So with the documentation out of the way, well, let's kind of see what the thing is all about, shall we? So we'll start off with the exterior model, and as you can see here on the screen, I mean, this looks like an Embraer 175. There's absolutely no question about it. You know, the dimensions, the model, everything looks pretty much proportionate to what I would expect to see from a 175. I've looked at reference photos on the net. I've looked at other Embraers and other sims. We do have Embraers in FlightSim by vertical or virtual call. Well, you know, they're do you know what I mean? But anyway, let's have a look at this. So I always go for kind of like, you know what I mean? Let's look at the finer details here. Like you know the crack here, lads. We focus a lot on the general aviation airplanes. We like flying low and slow because it's the little visual details we love. Airline pilots, not so much. It's more the systems. So let's see if we can kind of draw a line in the sand and see what this can do. So again, just to reiterate, this model was created by Xcrafts, an X-Plane developer, and it was brought in to Microsoft Flight Sim by, FlightSim Studio. So looking at the main landing gear, everything here looks pretty nice indeed. The tires, okay, there are some texture things. You can see where it says Bridgestone. It's a little bit warped out. That's very kind of X-Plane-ish. But, you know, they're round. You're not getting those weird hexagon things. The main landing gear lights, they look pretty nice. There's springs going on in here. They're 3D modeled absolutely correctly. And then it kind of tapers off once you get into, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, where did they... Okay. Oh. So it tapers off fairly quick. Now, who's going to spend their time inside the wheel arch? I couldn't tell you. But, you know. But I still think from certain views, it's impressive. The 3D modeling here is on point, and there's nice textures at play. You can see the dirt and grime, wear and tear, and so on and so forth. It looks decent, lads, right? All your various kind of antennas underneath, probes, and the devil knows what. You can see kind of where the door openings are. I'll show you them here now in a few moments. On the aircraft skin, you can kind of see the wear and tear. There is a nice bit of texture. There's a decent bit of texture. It's a 3D model, absolutely, especially kind of over the door there. Where the jetway comes down and connects, so it doesn't like bounce off the plane. Interested to see that. And then of course, the reflections look really nice. Everything looks spot on. Everything looks as good as you would expect it to look for this sort of a price category. In excess of about $30. It's about what, £27, £29. So it's interesting. Looking into the engine, well, this isn't too bad either. We can see all the blades; they look good. The color looks very, very good. The shine, it looks spot on. There's no messy 3D modeling. And of course, then they have like it's, what do I call it? It's like the grader, right? That's sitting in there. Plus you have this. Anyone know what that does? Does anyone know what that does, right? There's a question for you. So the engines look nice. They are quite small. But then again, this is a regional aircraft. These do the short range stuff. And these compete heavily with the turboprops of the ATR. That's what they kind of do, right? It's a USB stick. Hey, Practical Tanker, good to see you. Voicey, good to see you. Do cats and make sure everything that should be round is. Yeah, but you know what I mean. So moving down let's have a look at the wing here, the leading edge, right where the slats are located. And again, visually, this is stunning. Look at the reflections, guys. It looks really, really nice. There's nothing that looks out of place. There's no rough textures that I can find. And it looks pretty much spot on. You get to the wing then where you can see the lights, the nav lights, and we'll have a look at all the lighting on this thing. They are 3D, even though the green nav light is a little bit kind of basic. There is a strobe there that looks all right. The aircraft configuration, it comes with either the long wingtips or the short version wingtips. You can select either or, whichever one you want. You have all your kind of static wicks here on the side. And look, you can see the textures on the wing. It's decent. It's very, very decent. And then if you want to go under the wing, where we can see where the flaps come down, again, everything looks spot on. There's really nice textures here. I think it gives you that kind of not brand new looking. This thing looks like it's in action, it's in service, and it's doing its job. We then have a look at the main landing gear. It's going to be the same story again. The wheels look spot on, albeit the tire textures, well, they actually look a bit sharper, to be honest. And again, there's a decent amount, I think, of modeling here, especially with those coil springs. I think there's a gap on a pipe. Yeah, there's a gap in a pipe. You're going to get that. I mean, I've been lucky enough to have access to, alpha and beta aircraft. And this is, hey, Dev, you need to do the thing. Oh, yeah, you didn't see that. You know what I mean? These are small fixes. So, yeah, that's looking pretty good. So moving back toward the rear of the airplane, here was something interesting. There was like some sort of a texture mismatch here. And you can see like the decals on the side, they're sharp. They're very sharp. I mean, they're very, very readable, right? But there is something kind of weird going on here. It's kind of rough textures. Now, from a distance, like everything, like most of the aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim, devs can cut corners and places like that because you're not going to be up that close to it, right? Then you have other kind of details here at the back door, but also then you have this, which is interesting, all to do with different trim settings for your elevator and so on and so forth. Again, you have the leading edge on your elevator and on your stabilizer here. Everything looks absolutely perfect. At the very, very back of the airplane where the APU is actually located, you can kind of see plenty of texture of dirt and grime, and everything here looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty good. And there's a decent amount of text or liveries. There's a decent amount. I'm using their house colors, but like it comes with like the usual. Plus, to be honest, there's so many third parties and gifted, talented artists making liveries. There's no real worry about how many liveries the aircraft come out with. But it's good to see that they have included a few. Like there's KLM there. I think there's US stuff as well. And it looks fairly decent. The winglets, as I said, you can have short or long version. They look pretty good as the way they are. And that kind of concludes the exterior look at the plane. So I think we can all agree, yeah, it's decent. It's not crap. Anyone says it's crap, well, you need your eyes examined. This is decent. Especially, like, we know what we're used to in Flight Sim. This is decent. This is good. There's no point saying otherwise. It's not bad. If you want to get up close and personal to the fuselage on a 737 from PMDG, you'll find limitations probably quicker there than you would here. This is decent. All right. So it looks the job. So the outside is pretty neat. Yeah, I agree. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into the flight deck because I want to open up some of the doors, and then we'll check out the cabin. They fully modeled the cabin, and then we'll go through the system, start it up and bring it for a blast, right? So here we are in the cabin. Now there's a couple of things that help. Immediately when you look at that, Meet Sim goes offline. As soon as you look at an interior, and these are all things that, if you're into video production, well, you're not really telling the full story. The textures here look a bit bland and a bit crap. But bearing in mind, well, that's because of either the weather or the sunlight or the lack of. Aviation Lads did incredible preview videos of this thing. I mean, the thing looks like it like, truthfully, if you look at Aviation Lads, what they've done with this, it challenges Phoenix in terms of its visuals. And then you hop into it and you're thinking, huh? But there are ways to do it. So what we're going to do, we're going to change up the time of day a little bit and just get a bit of brightness in here and a bit of depth, right? And then suddenly the textures go from being kind of, plasticky and grainy to, oh no, there's a bit of stuff going on here. So let's check it out, right? So jump into the pilot seat and we can have a look around. This is the latest beta. They released this a couple of hours ago that I got at 2 o'clock today, right? And what we're going to do, we're going to open up some doors. So you can see that there is an EFB. It's limited only to door openings at the moment. You can jump into settings. You can make the thing bright, turn it on or off. You can fly from the right seat. And I have seen where you can do the calibration settings for your controls. They've removed it now because it was broken. But that's fine. So if you want to open the doors, I mean, you literally just click, which is great. This does work with GSX. A couple of bugs with that. It's problematic. But for the most part, it works. And here's something cool. Look at the window. The window opens. Simple, small, little, tiny attention to detail. It's always good to see. So you look at the door openings and, the animations are quite good. They look very, very good. And again, if you move around the aircraft, you can see that the window, of course, is open. I mean, that looks pretty good. You can see the glass textures there. I mean, they're really nice, right? I mean, you can absolutely tell that it's open because you have these, you have a different setup when it comes to the door being open. Move around to the far side of the aircraft, you can see there's another entrance, but also the cargo doors are open. These seem to be modeled pretty well, right? I mean, the hinges are all where they need to be. There's nice colors. Again, you're looking at wear and tear on the hinges. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's decent. Visually, this thing is spot on. You have some information in here when it comes to the loading, how to open the doors. And like, that is so clear. I don't know how well it comes up on the stream, but it's good, Murph, will it be out by Christmas? I would say so. Anyway, you can jump inside here. There's lights and all this sort of jazz, and well, they've kind of done a decent job here. I mean, that's by having the cargo door open. Well, you got to make sure that you do something on the inside. That's pretty good. Nice. Okay. Let's check out the cabin, shall we? So yeah, I think it'd be nice if it came with its own ground equipment, stairs maybe, GPU. You know, I'd prefer that rather than using something like a GSX, because not everyone has GSX, right? So I'd like to see the developers add that stuff in. You know, it's nicer, right? Anyway, we'll jump in here into the cabin, and you can see again the 3D modeling. It's decent, and you have these kind of, you know, very high resolution decals. Yeah, nice touch. Like, they're sharp, right? They are sharp. So, step inside, and here we have the cabin of an Embraer. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have been in an Embraer before. I was only saying to Gibbo there on Wednesday night, in the ATR, they're so narrow. If I want to go to the jacks, I got to walk in, but I got to, like, walk backwards to get out, right? I can't turn in the thing. God forbid. But anyway, so we'll go for a little tour here, and, well, we'll check out the LC configuration. Now, I don't know, do these guys have, like, you know, a business class perhaps in them? I don't know. But certainly moving around, the textures on the seats, they're decent. They look nice. You know, the size of them look pretty much spot on. Again, you're looking at measurements of how everything should look. They all have nice little TV screens and everything else. The textures inside, they look okay. You know, you're not going to spend all your life back here. And then you move back into coach. Again, these seats are different sizes, different widths, the whole lot. And, like, there's nice kind of, it's not super sharp, but it's not bad. I mean, you can kind of, it's not bad, right? I mean, you can see where the textures are. It looks fairly decent. Seatbelts and all that are there. It's, you know, it's pretty much copy and paste, but it's not bad. And as we move down toward the back of the airplane, well, you can kind of see then where you have your station at the back. There is, where the jacks is, there's a jump seat, and then you have, like, you know, your catering and whatever else. Does it have a jacks? I couldn't tell you. We'll go in here and have a gawk. No. It's a drop. It's a drop jacks. If you go in there, it just drops. Then you kind of have, like, your cabin panel here. Again, it's high resolution. You can see what's going on here. Now, they don't function, but they don't function in a lot of aircraft. So at least you can read it. At least you can identify where the stuff should be, right? Yeah, there's no flushable jacks. It's, like, unflyable, right? And there's other things like the window visors. They don't move. But again, do they need to? You know, there's a nice little bit of detail here. You know, they have placards in the back where there isn't the TVs. There's, like, the emergency decals here, and, like, they're fairly decent resolution. I mean, you can read them, right? Safety on board. What steps to take in an emergency? Take massive steps out of the airplane at a rate of knots. But it's good. It is good. It's high resolution textures for the most part. I have absolutely no issue with what's going on in the back of the airplane at all, right? So with that said, now we're going to focus on starting it up, having a look at the systems, and listening to some of its sounds. Then we're going to go flying, lads. So I hope so far you're all getting on well. So far, right? Gibbo Ireland has come back with wordage. Ooh. Did anyone figure out what the what this little thingy was here in the engine, by the way? Does anyone know what that is? Has anyone figured it out yet? There's no sick bags. Think about it now. It's in the engine. And it's kind of pointing back towards the blades, right? Think about it. What's important to have on the leading edge if it gets very cold and wet? Hey, Catbat9 is here. Good to see you. It could be either ice or fire. Gibbo's been watching too much Game of Thrones, but I think he's onto something. I think it's part of either an extinguisher system or you know, a de-icer system. We'll have to read up on it, but it is, you can see it, right? That is decent attention to detail. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to jump in here now and get the thing started. Oh, Jesus. We'll get it started up, right? So, let me see. We'll close the window. Decent animations, and we're going to close up all these doors. Nice. And there is a volume change when you close the doors versus when they're open. It's always good to see, right?
Therefore, please make sure that your seatbelt is in the upright position. The tray tables are folded up and your seatbelt is fastened.
Good woman yourself, Veronica. I didn't hear her before. But anyway, we'll move on, right? So, well, what are these comparable to? First of all, the yoke. The E-Jets or Embraer, they have a very particular type of yoke, similar to that of the Concorde, if you think back, right? But it's an upside down yoke essentially, but it makes sense. I mean, it's the animations here, everything works spot on. They even have a bit of detail there with the cable in the back, if you can see that. Yes, see the cable. This is where you get kind of brownie points, because the amount of people that don't do this stuff. And like, these are the points I'm trying to make. You know, I think this thing, it wasn't shown off properly yesterday. Today I got a lot more looks at it, right? Especially with Fabio and even with Jamie. But it's early access, lads. This is not the finished product. But when you see the level of animation that's going in there, there's a bit of work on in this. It's not clipping. PMDG 737 clips, right? It clips. It goes against its own textures. This looks good. This is pretty good. All right. The cable moves. Anyway, so we'll try and get ourselves a bit of what's going on here. So you can see the rudder pedals. Now, I think the brakes are on. That's why the pedals are so far forward. But like, they don't look spot on to me. But they work, and the animations is good. Underneath, in the footwell, I mean, I don't know, is that texturing accurate? Is that what it looks like in there? I mean, it looks convincing. Plenty of cables and wires there. Nice cable ties. Yeah, this thing is kind of all right. It looks pretty good. Then, of course, you have a check sheet. We'll open that up now in a second. But let's get ourselves familiar with the cockpit. The overhead, there's not a whole lot here. I mean, look, you got a whole lot of roof ahead of you. There's not much going on. It's actually quite small. Okay, but that straight away gets points, and because it doesn't scare the crap out of us by having 100,000 switches, right? Now, if we move around to other positions, let's look across here. Here's the other EFB on the far side. And again, if you don't like the angle of this, so here's something handy. Little things. PMDG have this with the DC6. If I click on this, it changes the angle, so it means when I'm flying, I can now glance down at it. And you guys, like, that's genius. Yeah, the animations are a bit laggy. There is FPS issues there, but it's a nice touch. They've thought of it. Instead of having to look this way, well, hang on, I can actually reach this, and I can reach the MacDo. Yeah, I can do a bit of coding here. Nice little things, right? So, moving around, we have our overhead. Here's our main displays here. Oh, Empire kicking. Good to see you. Welcome in, man. Welcome in. Wake me up when you decide to fly. Black ice now. Do you know what I mean? It'll be grand. We're going to go flying now in a minute. So we have our main panel here. And, you know, for the most part, things work. There's sounds, they roll, they click, they do whatever else. And then moving down into our center, we have our two MacDos, we have engine systems, we have our speed brake, we have our auto, no, we don't, we have our throttle. That comes with a toga on both sides, auto throttle disconnect. We have our parking brake located just here. We can lift the armrests. Pretty much everything behind that is it's in up. It has the Ram turbine, but the Ram air turbine, not modeled yet. I don't know if they're going to do that. We must check it out. And other things that they have here will have the flaps. And you have kind of these don't work, but I'm sure they will. But you have kind of like your radio controls and so on and so forth. There's a bit of stuff working here. All right. Over on the right hand side then, well, it's kind of similar. We can see that we have the tablet there, and that does the same crack. You can fly this aircraft in the right seat by an option. All the circuit breakers are there, but they're not modeled. They just appear. I don't know, is that going to be something that they're going to want to add in? You have this little bin down here. That's nice animation. You can see the pins and all that sort of stuff. The oxygen system, it's not there yet. So I know it's a simple click of a button and it gives you the owl sound. Doesn't do it yet. Life vest stowed under your seat. The first officer window opens and the animation is decent. And there is sound if you didn't hear it. Hey Josh, good to see you. Many thanks for the follow, dude. So yeah, look, not too bad, right? Not too bad. Cup holders, none of that kind of stuff is there. And then moving towards the back of the airplane, even the seats. Well, the seats are meh. It's kind of like that itchy kind of fabric. When it's not, they're really the furry stuff. You know what I'm saying? The furry stuff. Yeah, it's a name. Now you might notice down here. Well, hang on a second. What's our radio panel doing back here? Oh, observer jacks, right? Well, yes, because there's a jump seat, and we can activate the jump seat just by clicking on it, and there you have a jump seat. Nice touch, decent animation. Yeah, they got a jump seat. Also the door, and I want to show you some of the little features. If you open the door, you have sounds. You're looking back into the cabin. If you want to close the door, see the way it pushes back a little bit? So there's obviously a locking mechanism on the ground or on the ceiling. When it locks in, well, to open it, you got to push it in again and close it. They've modeled that. That's interesting, right? Jammed door emergency. How do you get out of the door if it's jammed? And again, everything here is pretty sharp. You can read it. this is wrong. It's not a Cessna 150, but again, they're just throwing it there to say, hey, this is where, you know, the tickets and licenses of the aircraft is going to go. Yeah, that's fair enough. Moving back here, again, you can kind of see where the fire extinguishers are located. You know, breathing equipment, the crash axes there. You have life vests in there behind the seats. There's another bin here for stowage. There is a POH here, but it's just for show. And then moving down on the carpet, well, everything looks pretty good. The seats, the chairs, they have full modelling there. That looks pretty decent. These are like the small kind of attention to detail. A lot of people don't really bother with them. And you can move the seats forward and back. It's a nice touch, you know what I mean? Like, it's early days yet, but there's... Try and do that right, Murph, without, like, moving the camera. You can adjust the seats. Both of them. Right? Nice touch, nice touch. Now, actually, if I fix this view... Because otherwise my camera jumps around like an absolute mad lad, right? So, what else do we have in here? Well, we have a checklist. Click on the checklist, and it goes from here to here. Really, really handy. But there was a way to change the page. See that? Click on the bottom right corner of the page, or the bottom left corner, it'll bring it back. The bottom right corner brings it forward. I love that. That's genius. I want to see that in more airplanes, because what do we have to do? We got to go through the interactive checklist from Microsoft, or we print out our own checklist, and we're looking at it here, which could be fun. But to put it here on the yoke, and then put a bit of logic in there to say, hey, bottom right of the page, I want to go to the next page, and so on and so on. Nice touch, lads. Nice touch. And then if you want to disappear it, I think you click on this part, yeah. And that puts it back. Nice touch, right? Now, so I suppose we'll put some power into it and see what happens, will we? I mean, it can only go bad from here, lads. So looking at our overhead, we're going to go battery 1 and 2. I'll keep the sounds up. Battery 1, battery 2. And there's a lot of sounds here. The devs did say there's a lot of sounds missing, but there's a lot of sounds here, right? Go ahead and put our nav light on, put a red beacon light on. And the APU is pretty... Have we ground power? No. So we'll go with APU. So as our system starts to come to life, APU switch goes to on, and then we'll put the APU on. And we'll give it a moment. Screens are going to turn on here. You can see all the emergency things flashing. They're doing their warm-up. But let's have a listen of the APU sounds. Jesus, that was loud. Just bear with me for a second, lads. I'm going to jump to server so we can actually hear the sounds, right? Just bear with me now. So we have decent sounds, and if we have a look at the back of the airplane, we do have this beautiful heat blur, the animation of the APU. It looks pretty, doesn't it? It's pretty decent, right? So what we'll do, we'll jump back onto our normal server where everyone was, and we continue on with our flows. So the APU is up and running. We want to make sure that we have electric pumps on. I think the APU bleed should be alive itself. Now we can check all of these things. You have systems here, so we look at our main screens. Now, some of these screens, you can pop them out and they can do the job, and you can keep an eye on things here on the screen, which is great. I love to see that, because if you're programming your MacDo, or if you're just even flying and you need to see what's going on here, this is how you do it. The refresh rate of these screens, and the developer has said that, they're kind of crap. You got to turn them onto like high resolution or maximum in the options just to let them kind of work the way they should. And this is, you know, this is... Anyone who flies Embraer, this layout, these color schemes, that will be correct. I'm trying to remember, is it the... What's the name of the avionics suite in this? The Avid... No, it's not Avidyne. There's some other name for it. Someone might know there in the chat. Honeywell. It's Honeywell, right? So it's a Honeywell system. But it's kind of customized to that of Embraer. So it's pretty good, right? So let's look at our main screens here. So we have options. And look, see the way when you move the mouse in? Let's zoom in here for dramatic effect. And if we zoom right in, can you guys actually see the pixels? The screen has pixels. So it's not just a flat screen. There's pixels going on here. It's simulating what they look like. You know what I mean? Who be this? Maple, you're very welcome in. Thanks for the follow, dude. Thanks for the follow. So that's pretty cool, right? But here's the thing. See the way now the mouse cursor has engaged? I'm not clicking this. I'm just hovering the mouse over this, which means I can now use this for typing in, so on and so forth. So we're going to click on systems, and I want to have a look at the electrical systems. So we click on the electrics to go back to systems, and this is showing us what the electrical system is doing. The APU is up and running, it is providing power to everything, and the only things not working is the ground power unit and the generators belong to the engines. Everything else is working. Now, how close these are to the real aircraft, again, I think Fabio went into a lot more detail earlier on, because he was able to say the voltage should be this, you know, the temperature should be that, and that's kind of where Fabio takes this stuff. But for me, purely looking at it, yeah, it looks the part. Yeah, it looks okay. Now, we can also look at other things. We can look at the hydraulic systems. And again, you can see there's a ton of information. PSI is obviously off. Pressure is, well, there is hydraulic pressure in the aircraft. We're able to open doors and so on. This will all come alive once the aircraft starts working. Dylan, welcome in. And who be this? L1, it looks like, or is it L-Juan or L-June? Welcome in, guys. Thank you so very, very much for all the follows. And, well, happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. So that's the hydraulic. Again, we look at the ECS or ECAS, your environmental stuff. So you can see your recircling fans, you know, your ram air, your packs are on, APU bleeds are on, and so far, just so forth. So, yeah, looks fairly good. What else can we see? Anti-ice systems. So let's have a look at the anti-ice system. So the APU is on, so we have power and PSI, and then you can see you have your engine anti-ice, and then you have your wing anti-ice, the leading edge, and you have all these temperature probes here. Now, I don't know how they work in 120 degrees. Well, I don't know. But maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. Engine maintenance. Engine dispatch limitations. Now, this is all, I imagine, stuff in progress or work in progress. So we can clear the engine faults, but it's just giving you information. You can't do much with it, but it's there. You know, it's nice to look at. And then you have system configuration. You can see everything you need to see. Okay, nice. Flight controls, we'll go through them once we're going to start it up. Fuel, let's check our fuel on board. So total fuel on board is 10,000 pounds. We're going to increase that ourselves. We'll add a bit of sauce into the mix. Let's go for about 90% fuel. And you can see now there's 18,500. 9,250 on the left, 9,250 on the right. Yeah, decent. Okay, so the fuel system is working from what we can see. And then we keep on our status page for this. So we can see your flight details, outside air temperature, gross weight, batteries, engine oil, oxygen pressure, so on and so on and so on. All right, fair enough. Let's move across. Now, here's the thing, and we found this out yesterday. So I do have a little bit of an FPS hit. It's just not as smooth as I want it. So one way to fix that, especially in the early version, I will just turn off the first officer screens. We don't need them. They're just replicating what we have on the left-hand side. As soon as I've done that, it makes things a little bit more smoother. Okay, nice. Right, so what we're going to do, emergency light not armed, bleed APU valve is open, steering is off, and end. So that's all like your information of the aircraft. If you want to have a look at the textures here in the main glare panel or the glare shield, they're not bad. It is plastic. In the real world, there's a lot of plastic in this thing, right? But by and large, the textures, they're not bad. They're just not bad. There's one or two issues here. You can see like textures are flickering and all that jazz. But by and large, this isn't bad. Sure, it's not. It's not bad, like. So, what we're going to do, we're on APU power, and, well, we can go ahead and get ourselves set up here. So, let's just do a thing. No smoking and seatbelt lights coming on. Passenger signs, go ahead and arm them. And it's the lights on, lights out thing. Lights out, you're grand. Lights on, you got a problem. Kinda. Right, that's fair enough. So, let's see what we can do. So in order to start the airplane, we're going to reset our barrel, make sure that's all correct. Because we're on APU power, we can actually start putting in our flight plan. And let's have a look at our options here. So we go to our MacDo, we can see that we have a radio system on the left-hand side, and we have a radio system on the right-hand side. Well, let's leave the radio over here on the right. On the left-hand side, well, let's go to our... is it performance, or do we go into... We'll start off with performance. So we're going to put in a route. So we're on the ground here at SBGL. And I have a flight plan done up, and if you guys type in !route, you'll get the route from the bot here in the chat, right? So, our route is our destination, lads, is SBSJ. Now, let's test this. So the mouse is over it. So if I just type in SBSJ, I'm typing that in, and that's so wonderful. Now I can still use the keypad and the keyboard here, but it just means I can type the thing in, and it's just wonderful, right? So let's go to departure. We're going to be taking off from runway runway 33, and we're going to be taking the the Almo, or the Almos 1 Bravo. Almo 1 Bravo. That's a departure. And then do we have a... we do. Sea-door or side-door. Okay, go ahead and apply that. That's going to load in. There's a discontinuity, but that's okay. There we are. So after there, we're going to go direct to UGTEF. So UGTEV. And I think we click that here. Yeah, there it is. And then from UGTEF, it's direct to runway 16. So now we can click on our arrival. Click on the arrival. There's no star, but we can select runway. It's going to be runway 16. And we can use the approach if you want. ILS runway 16. Go ahead and put it in. I don't need them. Click on the arrival and apply. Click on the flight plan, and now we can see that we have lateral navigation programmed in. I could start putting in altitudes and everything else, but the VNAV system doesn't work. There's no real point. I can use it there as a reference or view it as like some sort of a constraint. I don't need it. We'll just leave it in there. So we'll do the usual. Look for any discontinuities. There are none. We're looking good. We're looking good. And if we want to verify this, well, if we click on our plan, here's our plan. If we pop out this little screen, and let's see will the thing start reading what we're doing. So if we look at the plan, it should be able to move us through it, yeah? How do we do this now? There we go. So we can zoom in or zoom out. So that's what our plan looks like. Yeah, pretty good. That works. All is well in the realm. Sweet. Okay. It works. Okay. It works. So that's all grand there. Now, other things we need to do, I think, would be, is it program? No. Route? No. TRS? Thrust rating? Okay. We didn't put in our weights and balance, so we need to put all that jazz in. So I think if we go back into performance, here we go. Performance initialization. Okay, so what we got here, this is where I'm going to, like, absolutely not waffle you. I haven't a clue. However, we can put stuff in, right? Cruise altitude for today is going to be flight level 260. So we can put in 260. Okay. Cruise winds, we can get that information from here. It's going to be 315 at 21. So 315. Oh, you big Aegis. 31. Oh, look, I can't find one. Interesting. 315. 315 at 21. 2, 1. So there's a small click spot issue with number 1, but it's working fine now. Now, zero fuel weight, that's on my tablet if I look correctly. So zero fuel weight is 60.08. Okay. 60.08. Will 0.08 work? 60. Yeah, okay. Gross weight 1850 and 20. Close enough. Close enough. Okay. What weather do we have it on? I have it on just like summertime, because like if it's like everything, like unless you're showing the airplane with decent lighting, I mean you can make the nicest things in the sim look rubbish if it's dull and there's no lighting on it. So that's the idea. It looks pretty, you can see the shines, everything here looks fairly good, right? So now what else do we need to do? Performance. So we go to next. Performance, haven't a clue. Back into menu, departure limitation, takeoff. So these are our V speeds. Where in the name of Jesus do we get these from? Let's see. Again, this is all going to come with the calculator. This will all come with the EFB once they throw it in, right? 135, 145, V2, 155, put it in, and VFS 160. Why not? Horse it in there for the sheer crack of it. Flaps are going to be set to 2. Takeoff climb pitch is going to be 10. Okay, that works for me. We have this takeoff configuration button. We'll worry about that now in a moment. So I think we're kind of okay. That should have done enough for it not to scream at us. Okay, so transponder code. Let's put in 2250 just for the sheer crack of it. Put that in, and if we go TCAS transponder, TARA. Okay, it's on. Radio 1, 2, radio 2. Okay, so it's on standby. Now it's on TARA. I wonder will this actually work? Interesting. I'm just not going to try this on VATSIM anytime yet. But look, it seemed to work. Seemed to work, right? Give us says, Murph, question from the chat. Will this be managed via Aerosoft One app? Do you know? Yes. This is going to be released through Aerosoft, meaning that all the updates will go through Aerosoft's One store or One shop thingy. right? So that's grand. Now, if I open up in little Navigraph charts, lads, we'll open up Navigraph charts just to see what in the name of Jesus we're doing. And we're going to load in our flight, import a flight from SimBrief, and hopefully this works. It does. So our departure runway here for today is going to be runway 33. It's literally just behind us, so we can taxi out there ourselves. It's over there to the left a bit. So our Mac-Do seems to be up and running. And, well, let's start putting in some other stuff. So flight director, click the button. It's on. Auto throttle. We can bring our speed up. I'm just going to set it to something handy now for the moment. Just put it in at 180 for the sheer crack. Altitude needs to come all the way up because we're going up to a high cruise, yeah? Anyone remember me cruise? Here's a guy who didn't write it down. 26,000 or flight level 260. So we'll just go ahead and dial this in. And again, you have the sounds. You have those clickety-clickety sounds. Now this thing is going to sound like a vacuum. But there are certain aircraft that kind of sound like a vacuum. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how accurate it is. There's not too many Embraers tipping around over my side of the pond. Now, what else do we need to do? Flight directs, that's all okay. The FMS. We have nav. Yeah. Approach. Okay, let's see what happens here. Barrows, that's all there. That's good. So system status, map. Go back to our map. This is going to show us the whole thing now. FMS2 is programmed in. Can we change that to FMS1? FMS1 is programmed in. And I think we're good. Now, before we get going here, I want to show you the lights, lads. Or the lighting, nighttime lighting. So if I dim the lights here for a second, I want to show you something pretty cool. So this is the night lighting inside the airplane, and it's grand. And you know, we can turn down the tablets here, and you know, dimmer switch and all that jazz. See the reflection on the window, looks pretty nice, right? But I want to show you something pretty cool. See this flood and storm light? You can turn these on both sides, right? Turn that off. Turn that off. There's some lights here, right? But there's one thing I really want to show you, and just look close at your screen. I'll disappear me so I'm not too bright in the screen. But you have this overhead floodlight somewhere. We'll find it here now in a second. Turn them lights on full whack. It's the storm light. I want you to look very, very closely. When I turn this off, it's not an instant lights out. It's giving you that simulation of a light turning off. And that might sound completely mad and stupid. You need to see it. See the way it fades out? Can you guys see that? That's a really, really nice feature. It fades out. It's almost like, you know, a dimmer switch. That's a really nice touch. That's custom coding straight away for your lighting. It's pretty nice, right? And if you want to talk about the lighting, well, the lighting on this airplane is pretty good. Look at down here, lads. Look at the state of that for a view. Isn't that something? It's good, right? You can't sit there and say it's crap. It's not. That's decent lighting. The bloom effect is really nice. You know, there's wires and all sorts of jazz going on here. That's pretty decent. Hey, Keen Lafferty's here. Good to see you. Oh, hang on. There is a real... Oh, Jesus. There's a real world Embraer pilot in the chat. I take it all back, lads. I haven't a clue what I'm talking about. Jesus. Is Clay a real Embraer pilot? Oh, look at you, Clay, W21. You're very welcome in. Do the lights do this in the real world, Clay? I reckon they do. But Jesus, aren't the bloom lights on this gorgeous? They're friggin' stunning. And if you want to look behind us, what's it like in the cabin? It's going to be shocking bright. But look. Very, very nice indeed. So, go ahead, close that door. We'll make it daytime. Let's go back here. Hello, Flo. The beauty that is Flo. I'm bringing the time back up to, around kind of 17:38 and a bit. You know what I mean? But yes, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm very new, only 230 hours in the jet. That is exactly 230 hours more than I. Brilliant! You're very welcome in, Clay. Thanks so much for joining us. Right, okay, so here we are, different colours of texture work and all this because, well, the time of day, right? So I suppose all that's left to do, lads, start up the plane and let's kind of giddy up and get out of here, shall we? So onto our overhead, make sure everything is what it should be doing. Strobes, put them on. Logo lights, put them on. Inspection lights, fasten seat belts are on. It has like this sterile cockpit light. It's not modelled. Everything here looks like it's good to go. So we're going to start the engines. And we'll go with engine number 2. So we're going to remove the little shield. We're going to click on Run. Yeah. And then we're going to go for start. And we're going to pray to the baby Jesus that this actually works. Now, straight away, I can hear that the packs have turned down. Okay. And let's just listen to the startup. So you have decent sounds, and if you listen very carefully, you can actually hear the cabin crew chatting. Good girl, Nora! Dr. Sisu is here. It's like, it's so lifelike, I can barely understand the crew announcements. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's what you want, right? What are they saying? What exit do we take? Who's in charge? You keep going, Nora. We love you. Right, good start on engine 1. Go ahead and close the shield. And now we're going to go for engine number 1. 2 is up. We're going to start number 1. So flick it to start. And we repeat the process. Let's go external. Okay, so the sounds are kind of thereabouts, aren't they? Now, back onto my normal server. That's a handy little addition, Flo, I'm not going to lie. Don't worry, you'll reappear, and the H-Jet is currently uninstalled because I broke it. So anyone who has the H-Jet, you'll appear as a Mooney Typhoon. But fear not, I will get it back in there. Right, next couple of things. Flaps need to be set to 2. So we're going to do our flaps next, so... slats on the front, flaps to the back. If you have a look at the animations, they're spot on. So you will see the slats move forward, nice and slowly. And then you'll see the flaps move. Give it a second or so. So there's the flaps moving. Nice and slow. And now we're looking for 2. So they're set to 2. Next thing, we want to check our controls. So we'll click on flight controls, and we're going to check all the movements of our flight controls. So we're going to go pitch forward, pitch back. We're going to go full left. We're going to go full right. Rudder left. And if we bring down the speed brake, we can see the speed brake. The current build, they can't get the speed brake working to a controller. They've told us about that. So see the way my speed brakes here are indicating full because I have it bound, but the speed brake little lever gadget thingy doesn't move. It's a bug. They know about it. They will fix it. All right, they will fix it. So that's the first part done. We have a takeoff config. No takeoff. Oh, Jesus, lads, she didn't like that. No, we can't take off. Is it because the APU is on? No takeoff configuration. Jesus. Right, to the APU, turn it off it. Go ahead and get our nose taxi lights on. I probably forgot something. Maybe my trim needs to be set. Although it's set to 4, it's in the green arc. I don't know, lads. We have a little chrono here. We can turn on the clock, start the clock. It also appears on your PFD. Nice. We'll go back to our map. TCAS, weather, and checklist. None of them work here. Unfortunately, not yet, but it will. It will. Auto brake, we're going to set to rejected takeoff. Close the shield on engine number 1. And a quick look down here. We do have clickable buttons, so you can see we're on VHF. We can go to nav, nav 2, and so on. You can kind of see stuff down here. You can change the volume. If you listen carefully, you can actually hear the beacon beep. Morse code. 90 minutes gone, near the bird in the sky. Gabe, you've seen nothing left, or nothing yet. We're going to stop now and have tea. Phoenix Black says, definitely liking the attention to detail so far. Sets a good precedent. Here's the thing, and I'm not trying to, I've nothing got to do with this developer. At all. I've nothing got to do with the developer. I've no shares in this. There's no reason for me to say this is good, bad, or indifferent. I just want you guys to make sure that you are informed enough to know if this is something you want to grab. That's all. That's all. So if you like what you see, that's a good thing. If you don't like what you see, that's a good thing. The point is, I want you guys to be as best informed. And we're going to achieve that between... Jesus, Raid, this is Raid, was streaming it earlier on, Fabio was streaming it earlier on, and Jamie was as well. So between all of us, you should have a fairly decent idea of where this plane is at, and should it make its way into your hangar. So, let's see. If you're looking for the fully fledged study level simulation, let's wait. Give it about 6 to 9 months. If you just want to kind of take it to A to B without worrying too much about systems depth and the accuracy of how this thing is going to work, sure, you can jump on now. Each to their own. Each to their own. Now, how do I turn off this friggin' beeping in my head, lads? Ooh, Jesus. I've broke it. Oh yeah, like they don't turn off at all. I found a bug! Or maybe there's a button to get rid of them. Shh, shh. Turn you down there now, Meow. Yeah, turn you down. Oh, speaker. Yeah, no, we can't fix that. Just turn it down. Shh, shh. Turn it all down. We don't want anyone shouting, right? I don't know. Double click to turn it off, says Clay. That's brilliant! He's a real world pilot for this airplane, and if he says if you press it twice they turn off, and I've just pressed them twice and they turned off. See? Who said it's not study level? Brilliant. Dr. Zissou was like, I don't know, this plane sounds way more Irish than the one Fabio was in. Brilliant. That's awesome. PA, no. Takeoff configuration. Any ideas there, Clay? It doesn't like it at all, look. No takeoff configuration.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, the park and brake is on. Hang on. Park and brake off. Ah, Jesus. Clay, someone give that man a can of Coke. He's after getting the answers right. Now, it's working. It's absolutely working. So what we're going to do, it does sound like, you know, Henry the Owl vacuum. Add in a small bit of... Oh, actually, listen outside. If we rev her up a small bit. Sorry, lads, I'm going to disappear you again, but I'll be back to you. We have to listen to this. So exterior sounds, lads. Ready? Think it's not bad. Okay, so before we get going, flaps are set, transponders on, landing lights are off. We're just going to taxi out here to runway 33. So it should be straight ahead, turn left, and let's hope, well, it works. Oh yeah, there's another thing. See the sun visors? They're located down with the flashlights or torches. So we appear them, and they appear on the little gadget here, and we can just kind of, you know what I mean? Ah, bless. Aren't they awful fancy? They're really finicky. Ah, Jesus, I pressed the wrong button. They're a little bit finicky, but they work. So, anyway, get them out of there. Okay, so brakes off. Small bit of power coming in. Test the brakes. Brakes are working. Now, do I have a wing view set up? I don't, lads, I don't. I really should, shouldn't I? Hang on a second. Don't go anywhere. We'll do this quickly. Open the door. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to take off here now in a moment, but I just want to put a little GoPro camera on the wing. Yes. Let's see here now. So, how have you been? Do you come here often? You're looking well. Now, can we get a little kind of... Oh, yes. The wing view with the engine, something like that. Press the button. Will it save? Yeah. Okay. Dune to Honduras, s'il vous plaît. Find yourself. Right, continue on here now, lads. This is fierce exciting. Envision, good to see you. Kind of sounds like my Dyson. Somehow Murph makes every aircraft he flies look promising. Hey, Fred. Good to see you, man. Now, let's... Oh, Jesus, there's planes all over the shop. Don't mind me at all, lads. I'm going this way. Oh, left. Oh, mind the plane. You can't ruin the immersion straight away. Yes. All is well. Hello, yes, looking well. Right, turn to the left. Yes. It does sound very kind of, doesn't it? It either sounds like a jacuzzi jet or a vacuum. Right, so we're moving along here now. We're going to do a left again, lads. Oh, jeez, look at the queue of people. How he is? Come on now, lads. It's a total gridlock. I'm going to taxi onto the runway here at Foxtrot. Only because I can. Landing lights on, please. Thank you. And let's go external and look at the lights at the front. Jesus, look at the state of this. Decent lights. The drone camera and the other views inside the drone camera. Always nice. See that weird twitching on the nose wheel? That's a bug. There's nice, there is wing flex, like the wings kind of bounce around the shop, you know what I mean? Okay, here we go, onto the runway. Front wheel is like a Tesco trolley wheel. Hey, Hex the Legend is here, good to see you. Right, get ourselves somewhat situated here onto the runway. Go! Idle. And we'll hold the brakes. So if we want to put it into heading mode... Jesus. How do we do this now? Barrow, heading. Click on heading. There we go. Heading is locked. So when we take off, it's going to be... Well, you can see. It's going to be take off to the right and then to the left. Wish me luck. I wonder will it crash on takeoff. Oh, Jesus. I wonder will it crash on takeoff. Now, does anyone know how to do... Well, we've auto throttle. Ping. Ping. Now we're coming in. It's 40%. Toga's on, but she's not doing that. Right, Toga. Airspeed alive. Jesus, I hope I got everything right now. You know the way I'm a devil for like checklists. 80 knots. Nice sounds there. Approaching V1. Here goes Joe. It's V1. Rotate. Yep, see Daisy. Positive rate of climb, and we're indicating the climb. Gear up. Watch our 180 knots. Get our trim sorted out here. Rejected takeoff turned off. Okay, nav mode, autopilot, flight level change, auto throttle activated. Hands off everything, let's see what happens. Oh no, it's trying to kill us. Sweet lamb of Jesus! It went out of that. Ooh! Climb, you devil! Don't kill us! Right, I fixed it, lads. Okay, so we're on auto throttle. I put it onto vertical speed. We're gonna climb. We can climb a lot higher than that. Let's go to about 1750. Auto throttle is doing a decent enough job. 160. Engine's at 80%. Let's increase that. 200. Engine spooling up. The trim is going to try and put us back to that 1750. There it is. It is slow. Start bringing our flaps in. Engine's back to about 85%. We're coming up on our speed. What's the transition level in Brazil? Does anyone know? Flaps and slats coming in. We're on VS. We could go flight level change, but it tried to kill us, so we'll just go V speed for the minute, right? Belting on here at 190 knots. Let's increase this a small bit, will we? So far, so good. Let's zoom in our map. Doesn't want to move. Why aren't you moving? Okay, the map is absolutely shagged. Oh no, there it is. Okay. Okay, so that's interesting. The map has a delay if you click off it. Interesting. So we're climbing here at 1800 feet per minute. It's taking its sweet ass time, so we can increase this. Let's go up a little bit higher here for the crack. Let's set it to 2250. Engines should spool up. We're coming up to 4,000 feet. This, you know, the displays do move a little bit slow. I have them set to medium, and they're very much kind of slideshow. They know about it, right? DLSS is playing a little bit of havoc, but nothing major. It's I can follow it, I can read it, I know what's happening. LNAV is engaged, vertical speed is engaged, auto throttle is on. It's doing its best to try and hold the speed to where I want it at. 83% on our engines. Speed brake is off. Auto brake is off. Flaps are in. And as we approach 10,000, we'll go ahead and turn off the lights. 7,000 in Rio? Sweet, okay. What do you think? What have the storms at the airports and the Greeks got in common? Toga, toga, toga. Epic fool. Brilliant. So, well, we'll do one of these because I know you guys are flying along with me, right? So anyone currently flying along with us here in the sim, well, if you're on the Xbox, press 1. If you're on the PC, press 2. And if you're here in absolute shock and awe at the state of my eyebrows, well, you press number 3. Hello, Fireflies. Welcome to the Flying Circus. We live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2000 Zulu time, right here on Twitch. not too shabby. Alright. Now, route spam. Yeah, who are you saying? Look at the state of the views down here. Right, so how are we doing here now? The L rate to climb is a bit mad, isn't it? And we can't seem to get that speed up, so she's under pressure. So, can we get, like, weather information? Let's see. Nav aids. Weather. Okay, so we're getting airspeed. Oh yeah, wind. Okay, we have a 5-knot tailwind. That's okay. 160 is our speed. Can we bring that up a smidgen? Yeah, we can. Let's go for 250. This thing should be able to, like, soar through the air. Decent dashboard. Hey, Joey Bolo, what's happening, man? Yeah, it's not bad, man. Push for IS Mac, or we can move this slider across, speed or manual. Okay. Let's go 250. I say I want 250. Okay, so 250 set. We're passing flight level 150 on our way up to 260. Flaps are in, and everything so far looks good. Let's have a look at the systems here now. Let's just have a look at our status. What's happening, right? So we are getting some information. We can see our electrical systems working, engine oil, oxygen pressure. I imagine that's all automated, right? Hot and cold. Let's see if that does anything. Passenger oxygen is on auto. Masks deployed. I wonder will it give us a scream in the back? Who knows? Who knows? Seatbelt lights can come off. Let our passengers meander around the cabin. There's decent wing flex here, lads. That's pretty smooth. The FFA airline radar looks busy over Brazil. Nice, lads, nice. That's pretty decent. So, okay, it's flying steady. It tried to kill us a little bit, but overall not bad. We are in the air, and let's see what happens here. So far, so good. VNav, in-up, forget it, not going to work. A lot of the buttons here, forget it, not going to work. But we do have nav, heading, autopilot, yaw dampener, SRC doesn't work, half bank doesn't work, approach mode does work, VNav, in-up, altitude hold, FPA. FPA. I don't know what that is. We'll have to read up on that one, lads. Or you're probably sitting there now, face palm in your head. How's the FPS? FPS isn't bad. I imagine it's 30 to 40, right? I'm in 4K, so like there's 42 outside. Yeah, about 40, 42, 43. It's a little bit heavier, I'm not going to lie. This thing is not as, it's not nowhere near as optimized as PMDG stuff. Phoenix, I get about the same performance in the Phoenix, right? flight path angle. Clarix, good to see you. Murph, did you see the mad lad CG Aviator taking this thing through the Mac Loop? No way, did he? I like CG Aviator. The man is mad. Ewell says, I've seen no other streams today where the approach mode worked. Okay, let's see what happens. Frames permanently abandoned? No, lads, like, put it this way. If I was in a general aviation airplane, I'll probably get like 50. Or, you know what I mean? I've my settings pretty much on ultra in 4K. What you guys see is 1080, but on my screen it's 4K. It's very fancy. Right, so what else? The weather button doesn't work. That's unfortunate. All the standard barrow there, Murph. The displays all work from what I can see. You know, I don't know what else they're going to add to this. You know, we can have a look at the roadmap, I suppose, and see what they can do. Can you open the windows at high altitude? No, you can't. There is a bit of a light on here. How do we turn that divil off? Viper Strike predicts 156. I mean, that just seems very accurate, Viper, doesn't it?
Hey, good morning.
Who be this? Gratzig! Welcome in, Gratzig! Let's brighten up things so you can actually see what's happening. Continue with the flaps. Can you start the game today and fly somewhere successfully? Jake says, can you start this game today and fly somewhere successfully? Are you asking me or in general? If you're asking me, I can start it, yes. Can I fly successfully? Yeah, probably not. 100, Murphy. What? Landing checklist. ECAS check, landing gear down, 3 greens, flaps 5, landing checklist complete. Clay. Legend, man. Legend. Flaps set to 5. Watch your speed coming in. Mind the buildings. What an approach. Hey, Derpix, good to see you. I saw enough little details to have That's the sound of a Spitfire. I saw enough little details that I have confidence that the devs have the skills to make this a great product. I am going to get this, don't hate me. Mr. 90, why would anyone say they're going to hate you, man? I mean, like, if you now feel that you're more informed after watching all the content creators today, myself included, if you feel that you know enough about this product and you feel more confident either to buy it or to wait, that's entirely your choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's... If we've done all that right, we're laughing. Who hit the sippage button? Jesus, Kanzui! I'm after messing up my landing. Right, here we go. Watch your speed, Murphy.
Big 10-4, good buddy.
Now there's distractions, Kanzui, you devil, he's at it again. Thank you very, very much. Welcome in. Ah, right, here we go. Jesus. Watch your speed, Murph. Okay, we're on a very short final. Flaps 5, gear down, auto brake set to medium, 400 feet. Imagine if it got a crash. Imagine if it crashed again! I will invent new words that couldn't be repeated. Here we go. These are messing with my lights now. Oh, wind your speed. Gently now, Murphy. Easy. Easy. 50. 30. 20. Start to idle. Hold the nose. 10. Get it down. Touchdown. Oh, hit the nose. Reverses out. There's decel. Oh, behave, baby. And like a complete and utter noob, I stopped it on the runway. Turn off brakes. Why are the auto brakes still on? Turn off. I turned off the brakes. What did I land at? Excuse me. What did we land at? What did we land at? Did we get a landing rate? Bet you didn't have LRM running either. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Balls! I didn't! Jeez, the noise of that. The Spitfire sounds are absolutely shagged. Fornax, you fell over on your nose, you poor devil. Look! No, I didn't turn on LRM. No, I didn't do the thing, and I don't have Volante turned on either. I'm an idiot. Why didn't oh, hang on. Do you know what will work? Me gadget. New landing. How can I show you the screen? According to Sim Toolkit Pro, I landed at 3 feet per minute. I'm just saying, 3 feet per minute. There will be an autograph session at the end. And, well, sure, come here. You know what I'm saying? 3 feet per minute. I swear that's what it says on Sim Toolkit. I'm not going to lie, that was butter smooth, lads. Butter smooth. I'm telling you! Look, you're not going to believe me now. Raging I can't bring that up on this screen. Teacher's pet, right? Yeah, the Spitfire sounds sick, doesn't it? Welcome to the Embraer factory. 1, please. We need to send in the machine here to get fixed. No reason to doubt you. Voicey, that's the spirit. That's the spirit. He's ignoring a couple of zeros at the end of it. Adam, not at all. What are you talking about? How convenient says... No, listen, right? Your face. 3 feet per minute, lads. Put it on a postcard and say thanks, Bigara. Oh, there's the sound gone. Yes. Right, to continue to taxi, Murphy. Yes, yes. Flaps are already back in. We could start the APU. Just like he landing on the 7.3, or just like the landing on the 7.3 in a carrier, first time. Pants are on fire. No, they're not. I landed that at 3 feet per minute, lads. In your face. The naysayers. Canoe head, you're back in the wheel. Looked more like 1 meter or 1 foot per second. Smooth as butter. Now you're talking. And hold her there. Parking brake coming on. APU should be running, which it is. We'll go ahead and kill the engines. Stop. Stop. Running lights off. And there we go, sports fans. So lads, that's the Embraer 175, currently in development by FlightSim Studio AG. They're releasing early access next Tuesday. It's going to be sold for €33.57. And then whatever your taxes are. If you're in Ireland, you're going to pay VAT on top of that. It's a 40. It's going to be a €40 add-on, right? Online simulations, welcome in. So, I hope I've done the product justice, and I hope I've done you justice. You know, if you're going to like this, if this is something that you want in your simulated hangar. The aircraft, my final thoughts on this, you know, it has a ways to go. It's an early access product. I'm always nervous when I see early access. However, what I do see, what the airplane can do, I like it. Genuinely, I like this. I think it's a huge step up from this developer, considering the only other aircraft they've released in the sim has been a very small amphibian GA aircraft. Okay? So take that with a pinch of salt. I think anyone who really wants to get a higher fidelity experience of an Embraer, this is the best show in town on Microsoft Flight Sim, but it's not the best in relation to an Embraer simulation. I think X-Craft still hold the trophy for that back on X-Plane. So if this is something you really want to get at a study level, just wait a couple of months. And you know, as they update this, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. I'm going to fly it. Probably off stream quite a bit, but like once I see updates coming for the thing, and if I think they're noteworthy, I'll definitely stream it again. A huge thanks to Gibbo. He gave us a very quick comparison of the 175 available in the sim right now, which comes from Vertical, whatever they're called. And it's nowhere near this, lads. It doesn't look as good, it doesn't sound as good, and even the systems, for the limitation that we have with this machine, they're just not there. I mean, I'll turn these back on just so you're not freaking out. There's still a decent level of systems modeling with this airplane. And there's some nice features about it too. I mean, even little things like the checklist, you can see them moving there. There's nice animations. I think everything looks and works the way it should. I think the lighting is superb. The lighting is superb on this. Exterior textures, the model work, it's really good. There is plenty of functionality. I mean, we got the jump seat. The cabin is done really, really well. All the animations, as I say, even when it comes to the door, that probably won't open now because I have it locked. Where's this button for the door? Button for the door. If I was a door, where would I have a button? It's somewhere. But I think overall, if you're looking for an early access product and you really want to fly, you know, a decent Embraer in the sim, well, I recommend it. Jump for it, go for it. If you're looking for the higher study level sim, let's see where this goes. Give it a couple of months and let's see where it goes. Does anyone have any questions before we finish this flight and start our general aviation flight in the Beaver? Can you show with all the exterior lights on at nighttime? Yeah, sure. So just bear with me, lads. I'm just going to dive servers because, like, there's a lot of us here, right? So if you turn on all the lights, that's everything on at nighttime. And we can make things nice and dark here with flow. And disappear me. Without using any sort of exposure, this is what your night lighting looks like. Pretty decent, right? The lights are bright, everything looks good. It's good. The strobes are powerful. There's beautiful reflections on the fuselage. Shading is nice. The tail light is very nice. It's subtle, but it's nice. Can you adjust the cabin lighting? No. No, the cabin lighting I think is automatic. That's not bad, right? Pat Breeze, many thanks for the follow. So, certainly the night lighting is good. You know? There we go. Make it look all nice and shiny. Do you know what I mean? Shiny. We'll have a look at the liveries, yeah. I'll go back into the main menu now in a moment. We'll check out all the liveries for this thing. Is the front lav empty like the back? Yeah. Yeah, there's no lav. They haven't modelled the lavatories, I'm afraid. There's no virtual pooping. The cabin is done pretty well, lads, isn't it? It's great. Grey Dog says, I think FSS owes you a pint. Best stream so far by a mile. Ah, dude, thanks very much. But look, every streamer is going to have their focus points. Like, all I was worried about here was making sure that you guys get as much information about this thing as you can. Check out the animations of the heat blur. Look at the state of that. It's like you've had a couple of pints too many. Do you know what I mean? Oh, the wrong side. It's on the captain's side? Really? Ah, there is. Look. No smoking in the lavvy. Negative. There's no lavvy. Think of the people who need the virtual lavvy. Do you know? So, yeah, guys, as I said, I hope this has helped you make a decision either way. Whatever decision that is, it's your call. I mean, it's good. Immersion is ruined. Gotsy Funk is here. Good to see you, man. What else? Sounds good, looks good. It's missing some systems. It hand flies pretty nicely, actually. It's quite maneuverable. The reaction of the throttle seems decent. So it's fun to fly. I flew it in manually for a landing. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell, lads. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and turn off our main lights, and we can kill the APU here as well. And they've simulated the APU as well. Like, it takes about a minute or so. I've powered it off. It'll take a minute or so to drop. And we can monitor that system here. Where is it now? Temperature, pressures. We go to systems, right? Status. Where's the APU? Ah, here's the APU here. So see the way it says 100%, but the temperature's starting to drop? And again, like, look, can you guys see the pixels in that? There's pixels in that. It's a nice touch, it really is. So let's see how long it takes for the APU to start powering down, right? I wonder, does the P button make the lavvy work, right? Yeah. So as I said, it releases on Tuesday. And I'll show you the liveries once we get back into the main menu. Plus, there's going to be so many liveries for this. And this is the first. This is the 175. There's going to be another version they bring out. And they're also working on the 190. That's going to be a paid expansion pack. So here's the APU powering down. See that? And we have the sound. It's pretty cool. Yeah, 100%. Clay, thank you so much for your help. Fallen Up says, according to CG Aviator, if you go up and down, it flaps like a bird. Yeah, I think the wing flex at low speed or normal conditions, it's okay. I think if you go high speed or like bury the runway, yeah, the wings go kind of nuts, right? So, yeah. So there we have it.